And it's raining today. I actually think I need to get a new umbrella. There's some water that's actually getting through from the top at times. All these umbrellas say they're super sturdy, but I don't think they can last in terms of, I guess, the West Coast rain weather here at times. And what did I read today? It seems like this was everywhere with all the virus and stuff still happening. People, I guess, getting vaccinated, etc., etc. Things are supposed to get back to normal, but people still want to find out, how did this thing start? Where did it come from? Initially, people were theorizing it came from like a lab or something like that. Then they kind of said, no, it's not from that. But then I guess this is coming up now. It says here, intelligence on 6 staff at Wuhan lab fuels debate on COVID-19 origin. Report says researchers went to hospital in November 2019, shortly before confirmed outbreak, as to calls for a probe of where the virus escaped lab. As it says here, 3 researchers from China's Wuhan Institute of Virology became sick enough in November 2019 that they sought hospital care, according to a previously undisclosed U.S. intelligence report that could add weight to the growing calls for further probe of whether the COVID-19 virus may have escaped from the laboratory. Details of the reporting go beyond a State Department fact sheet issued during the final days of the Trump administration, which said that several researchers at the lab, a center for the study of coronavirus and other pathogens, became sick in autumn 2019, I guess with, quote, symptoms of consistent with both COVID-19 and common seasonal illness. And with that, it says, I guess the next phase will be to determine how many researchers and stuff, I guess, went to the hospital and all that. Man, during these times, I said it once, I said it again, the only thing that you can 100% be sure of is that no one knows 100% what's going on, or necessarily, I guess, the best way to deal with it. It's like one day they say, oh, it's because of this, next day they say it's because of that. It makes you think too, let's just assume it did come from a lab, like that's what they say eventually, or discover. Look at all the information out there that turned out to be false if that's the case. It just makes you think, again, during these times, as I said, since nobody 100% knows what's going on, it's kind of, I guess, dangerous to take the extreme of one side or the other. And this was kind of an interesting read, I guess, in relation to drones, because you've read a lot of articles and stuff on how recreational flyers would say, oh, a lot of those government officials, they've never flown a drone in their life, they don't know how it works, so they come up with over-the-top regulations that don't really do anything except stop people from using the tech. How about when it comes from, I guess, more business-oriented types of approaches? This one says, Zipline medical drones show how US aid should work. A coterie of government employees never could have envisioned such innovation or implemented such a technology. Only the private sector can. That is and always has been America's strength. A patient at a medical clinic in northern Rwanda needed blood. A call was made via WhatsApp. As a medical office filled an insulated box with the order, another Zipline employee assembled the drone and inserted the battery. In the control room, a third drone got air traffic clearance to launch. 4 minutes later, the drone was in the air. Within minutes, doctors had what they needed to save the life of someone who would have died the year before. The Mwanga drone port can launch up to 100 drones per day, 24 hours per day, and 7 days a week. If the drones are not responding to emergencies, then they're delivering coronavirus vaccines to remote regions of the country. And this sounds kind of harsh. It says, Zipline is a US company, but it first began its operations in Rwanda because the entrepreneurs behind it identified both the need and a regulatory and corruption-free environment. It could take perhaps 4 hours by car to get the supplies to the rural clinic, during which time most of the blood and platelets might spoil. But such gamble or logistical difficulties are no longer an issue in this small East African country. So are they implying, for example, it's the government that's stopping, I guess, stuff like this from happening just because of all things like bureaucracies and all that? And it says the United States has spent billions of dollars over the years across Africa with little to show for its investment. Perhaps US aid is so set in its old ways that it can't reform. Zipline, however, shows a different approach, encouraging US businesses to invest in African countries can do more than handouts ever could. Zipline employees Rwandans who assemble, launch, and recover drones after just 3 weeks of training. The company now operates 2 drone ports in Rwanda, doubling its employment and range. So it sounds like they're kind of encouraging, I guess, US companies to move over to start their operations over there because of less, I guess, red tape and all that. I guess personally from a recreational flyer point of view, I would agree. It's mostly these government red tapes not knowing what they're doing that basically stifles innovation and creativity overall. I mean, I would say it was basically just what the average people just flying for fun and all that, whether it be model aircrafts or whatever, that promoted and innovated stuff like this. Whereas you have then governments coming in and say, oh, I guess we need to regulate all these like a huge airplane, which is completely ridiculous. So it's kind of interesting just to see the perspective of businesses actually in some ways saying they don't know what they're doing, so to speak. Because I know in many cases when it comes to businesses, a lot of them just be quiet because they don't want to, I guess, lose any of their business spiffs or anything like that. And they'll just go along with it saying, oh yeah, it makes sense in every single way. Alright, looks like there's no flying today. I guess it's time for the archive. Alright, see you guys later.